Second week in a row where you've had to, withstand some spirited opposition and took a little while to get past them both.
Yeah, look, I think it'll stand in some really good stead going forward. We've got some really tough games, starting with Richmond this week. So, look, we started well, we started every quarter well, and then we just lapsed towards the back end of quarters. So, and then when the game was up for grabs, I thought we were at our strongest.
The big thing for me, I thought was terrific that you kicked 19 goals. I mean, that's what you've been endeavouring to do every time you've spoken to us in recent weeks. You've wanted to improve in that area, and you're aiming to get around about 100 points, and you're able to achieve that. Yeah,
well, that's the basic benchmark. So we know it's been roughly, we've been the rankings sound a lot, but when you drill in, we knew 2 goals a week was about the same as last year halfway, and then we stepped it up. So we've been working hard on it, and the weekend it come to fruition. And so some really good signs.
Now, you had a couple of blokes, of course, senior players, but hadn't played much footy in Sandlands and Pav. You lost McFarlane. You didn't have Duffield again. You lost Clancy Pearce, who got knocked out. And again, defensively... Subin didn't play. It was a late withdrawal, mate. You've been able to, even though you've had these changes, you've had players come into that team that have been able to hold up for you, which has been really pleasing.
Yeah, it has been pleasing, and look, I think the first thing is the credit always goes to the players. So, I mean, 2 obvious ones for me, Tommy Sharon and Cam Sutcliffe have worked incredibly hard, and Alex Silvani. So, 2 second-year players that were significant, in a derby, which is quite fierce. So, and I think the other thing, we just know behind the scenes that our development academy, headed up by Simon Lloyd, and his team work really hard with our young players, so when they come in, they can hold their end up. Look, it's not an exact science, but it's certainly been giving us an opportunity to keep winning.
Thought Stephen Hill was terrific, bounced back. Clint Jones got him the week before, pretty badly, I thought too, but he really rebounded and celebrated his 100th game in the way he should.
Yeah, look, a milestone. We had his mum in and brother and sister in before the game and his girlfriend, so it was because they've invested, with Stephen over the journeys. So it's nice for them to be a part of it, and then to get the win in a milestone game. I'm sure we'll get a photo and frame it, and a derby made it even more special for him, I think.
Now, mate, what about Pav? At this stage, he's cop 3 if he takes the early guilty plea. As coach, what do you think you're going to do there?
Well, there's been a club decision. He's done. He'll accept that. So he'll be out for 3. Matthew and I always really both have a talk on the Monday and Tuesday, and obviously he's frustrated and disappointed. But from my end and Matthew's end, it's a split-second decision, you got to make, and it went the wrong way, and so now he's frustrated for a couple of weeks, and we just need to sort of keep delivering till he gets back, because we know we're a better team with him in, and that's been proven over a long period of time.
Were you pleased with the volume of goals you were able to get? Even though Ballantyne kicked 5 the week before, he didn't score a goal this week, so you're able to spread the load. I think 11 goal kickers on the day. Yeah,
and that was the aim going in. Certain teams have certain characteristics that when you analyse them, and we knew there was opportunity there for a spread of goal kickers if we did certain things. So we're able to deliver on that. And that's the aim going forward. And I think in the second half of last year, we kept having 9 or 10 goal kickers. So we're going to need that again, particularly without Matthew. But what Matthew does is get you some easy ones. He takes a contested mark and he kicks it from 55, which are really uplifting and fill the midfield. So we'll miss those couple for a little while, but I'm sure he'll be back.
Even there was only a cigarette paper between you at half time. I thought you got away from your ideals in that first half a bit, Ross, the same as you did the week before, but did you obviously had to have a word to the boys to make sure they got back into the slipstream in the second half? Yeah, well, there's been a bit made of that, even David King at half time. I might have raised my voice with intensity, but it certainly wasn't a bake. It was just more of, look, we had these 3 aims coming in, and they were standing us in good stead. And you're right, we got away from a couple of them, and so it was just a refocus, and so look, I thought we were winning the ball really well. We're plus 20 ground ball in the midfield, and that's huge. And their tackling pressure, as soon as that dropped off and we kept winning the ball like we were, things opened up. So we were quite confident, although when you're in the heat of battle, you're always nervous and anxious, but I had full faith in the group to keep going. And you're clearly a better side with 2 ruckmen in the team, aren't you? With Sandy Lance and Clark. I think they're both starting. It'll take a little while. I mean, it's only the second week that they've been together. I think it's looking good, and if Aaron can start clunking a couple up forward, because he does create a lot of opportunities, he does straighten you up a lot.
Yeah, and then early in the last quarter we went long and deep to Aaron and Ballas crumbed it and we built some pressure. So it was the plan all summer, and then the injuries started to mount. So, you know, it was Aaron and Clark, and then both of them went down. So it was John Griffin and Kepler. And then Kep went down, and then Griffin and Hanneth, Griffin went down. So it's been a battle, but we just think they'll keep growing together. And you know, tight contested game, you need your big men to take a couple of contested marks and get you some hit outs. So we're pretty keen to keep going that way.
Now, I thought we were going to rock up at the ground on the weekend and get absolutely nothing in the game on the weekend. I'm glad it was a great game of footy, Ross, because
Why would you think
I had to go back to that Derby press conference, which I've seen a few things from. Starting with the squeaky door, and then the answers that you and Woosha gave. You two look really bored sitting up there with your Carlton Mid-Derby hats on.
Well,
I
think, you know, CUBs and Carlton Mid, they're fantastic. Maybe the joint press is done, isn't it? I mean, Derby 38, I think, you know, we're still our own and they could cut and paste. So, I think the media's over it too, to be honest. So,
yeah.
Look, we just go, we're obligated to prepare in the same manner every week. I know, look,
would you like to be honest?
Pardon?
Would you like to be honest? Would you say, oh yeah, we've got their number, we've got their cover, they're our bunnies? Would you like to say stuff like that?
Well, if it was true, I'd say it, but that's clearly not true. So, we're really concerned going in, and for good reason. They showed they were in good form. When we stacked their midfield up, they had really big, long runners, and a real handful in there, and powerful ruckman, powerful front half. We knew they were a little bit vulnerable down back, but if you know, with the young kids, but you had to get enough supply and quality supply. So it was a good battle for a reason, because they're a quality list, and I think John has led them really well under pressure, and clearly they feed off that and they bring great effort. So it was a tough derby. You know. At
this point, Ross, obviously every game's big, everyone's a test, everyone's a challenge. I mean, but it's a pretty big one this week too against Richmond, because they can, you know, they're either very good or very average. So there's a big mark between their best and their worst, but they do play well at the MCG.
Well, they're far more consistent. They won 5 out of the last 6, and if we had a loss on the weekend, there was only 2 points over the whole year between us. So the commentary, I keep reading about a soft, easy draw. I haven't seen it yet. So I mean, Richmond at the MCG, you know, basically, they win, their 2 points behind us for the year, and I think they're fully fit and available. It's a big task for us. I think it's going to be adverse weather, but we don't mind the wet, so we're looking forward to get back to MCG against a quality opponent.
You learned there's no easy game, didn't you, from St Kilda, and you only have to look what St Kilda offered up again on the weekend.
Yeah, I think the same thing. Their midfield, particularly with Hayes back, is very strong. I think if you analyse the Saints midfield, they're very experienced through there. It's more either end. Without Revolt, they were a bit vulnerable the week before, but their midfield's still quite powerful if you have a good look at it. So, and Richmond's strength is their midfield guns, you know, all those early picks and key forwards, and they've added Chaplin down there for stability down back. So, look, I feel sick when I think about it. So, I'll try and get through the review and just stave off that anxiety for a while.
So, who gets to step up for Pav?
Well, it's a good question. Most of our waffle, I shouldn't say waffle players, but our list of players that play in the waffle basically had the weekend off. There was no games that any of our players played in. I think maybe one. So they did a training session on Sunday, and you know, but Lockie Neal's been in good form. You know, we expect Duffield to come back. You know, Peter Falk's been in really good form, so I'll have a look at that. Jack Hanneth. So there's a bit there.
Taberner?
Div Mitchie and Taberner who've been playing. So we feel we've got some youth to draw upon, but you know, we've got to work our way through that, the conditions and the lineup.
Good stuff, Ross. Thanks for your time. Good luck on the weekend. Talk to you next Monday.
Thanks, Brad. Thanks, Carl.